Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. Today is Memorial Day, and the question is, what do you say as a greeting? You obviously don't say Happy Memorial Day, but what is it? And so I want to suggest 3 names for greetings for this holiday. You know, we just came back from Israel a few weeks ago, and we observed Yom HaZikaron, which is the Israeli version of Memorial Day in Israel. And I thought of 3 names that we experienced and witnessed in Israel. The first one would be have an inspiring Memorial Day. You see, in Israel, Yom HaZikaron is a day of inspiration. You gather around with the families of the bereaved. You hear stories about their sacrifice, and you're inspired to make a sacrifice for your country, just like they made the ultimate sacrifice. There's a custom in Israel that the members of the unit in which the person who sacrificed their life for their country was, go to visit the parents of the soldier who died. And even 20, 30 years later, when the fellow members of the platoon are 40, 50 years old, 60 years old, they're still going back to meet the elderly parents, to talk about their loved one, to remember their goodness and their special ways, to be inspired to live the way they lived. On Yom HaZikaron, we went to Mount Herzl, and we stood with Harriet and Mark Levin, whose son Michael was a lone soldier in the Lebanon War, Second Lebanon War of 2006, and sacrificed his life for the Jewish people. And as we were standing in Mount Herzl, which was packed with thousands of people by their loved ones' graves, standing with family and friends to remember their loved ones, as we were waiting for the sirens to go off, 2 yeshiva boys walked up to say a prayer at the grave of Michael Levine. And when they realized that Mark and Harriet were the parents of Michael, they said, "It's such an honor to meet you." And then these 2 yeshiva boys said to Mark and Harriet, "We want you to know we saw the video, the documentary about your son, a hero in heaven. And we were so inspired by his sacrifice and what a special young man he was, that we decided we want to join the army as lone soldiers. We're from the United States, but we came here to join the army." And here I was thinking, 19 years after Michael passed away, he's still inspiring people to live by his example. Maybe we're not ready to join the IDF or to join the American army, but when we think about those who sacrificed for this country and for Israel, we have to be ready to emulate their example. And if they made the ultimate sacrifice, we surely can make some kind of a sacrifice. The second greeting that would be appropriate for this holiday would be have a grateful Memorial Day, because what this holiday is about, it's gratitude. A matter of fact, today is also Yom Yerushalayim, the 3rd day of the 6-day war, the day that we came back to Yerushalayim, and for the first time in 1897 years, Jerusalem and the Western Wall was back on Jewish sovereignty. And when we go to the Kotel, as we all do, we cannot take it for granted. We have to realize that soldiers fought and died so we could have this opportunity. And so it's have a grateful Memorial Day. And that's why, unlike in America, where this holiday is associated with barbecues and shopping and sales and swimming and going to the beach and having a fun day, in Israel it's a day to say thank you. And yes, one of the things we did in Israel was we went to an army base, as everyone has done, to make a barbecue, not for ourselves, but for the soldiers, to say thank you, we appreciate you, we love you, thank you for defending and protecting us. That's what it's all about. It's a day of gratitude. Have a grateful Memorial Day. And ultimately, perhaps the best greeting of all is have a loving Memorial Day, because these sacrifices that our soldiers make is out of love for our countries and love for our fellow Americans and fellow Israelis. And we have to realize how much love they showed for us so that we could live freely, because freedom is not free. They gave their all for the values of our country, both in America and in Israel, because Israel and America share values, democratic values, freedom, and we're allies. And therefore, when you sacrifice for America, you're sacrificing for Israel and vice versa. And therefore, it's a day of love have a loving Memorial Day. And one of the beautiful things in Israel that I wish they did here in America was that at 11 a.m., which is just in a few minutes from now, the siren goes off throughout the country and everyone stops and stands at attention for 2 minutes and thinks about the heroic sacrifices that our soldiers made. And it doesn't matter where you are. Imagine you're on the 95 and all the cars come to a full stop. And everyone gets out of their car on the highways and stands at attention as the siren blares. Today we could have a siren go off on every cell phone. And we could all stand at attention and take 2 minutes out of our 24 hours of Memorial Day to remember the sacrifices and the love. And both in our country, in the United States, and in Israel, we have to be united. We have to say, if they gave it all, they sacrificed everything for us, can we sacrifice a little bit to show love and unity with our fellow citizens? How petty is it to fight over differences that are political, rather than see the bigger picture that people died for us to live here? And surely we have to give it our all to love one another and to be united with one another. When we were at the Duvdevan Army Base making a barbecue for the soldiers on Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel's Independence Day, it was a scene that I witnessed that I'll never forget. You see, the families of the soldiers, some of them who are married, their loved ones are on the army base, so they join them on Israel's Independence Day to celebrate with them. And so they joined our barbecue. There was a young soldier, religious young man, who his wife and his little infant baby came to spend the day with him on the army base. But in the middle of the day, this soldier was called to do a special operation. The Duvdevan unit is a very high elite unit. They're like the Fauda. And so he had to stop in the middle of the barbecue, and a jeep came to pull off to take a few soldiers out on an emergency call. And I watched the wife, this young girl with a newborn baby, walk the soldier as he gathered all his gear in the middle of the barbecue, got into this armored jeep to head off to defend the Jewish people. And as I watched the wife kiss her husband, and I watched him kiss his wife goodbye and the baby goodbye, knowing that every mission could, God forbid, be, God forbid, a life and death mission. But he's ready to go, leave his family, and leave them with love and say, I have a calling, I have a mission, I have a purpose. That's the love of the unity of the Jewish people, the sacrifice that every soldier makes. And so on this day, don't just have a barbecue, don't just go to the beach, don't just look for a good sale, but make sure that it is an inspiring Memorial Day. Remember the sacrifices and be inspired. A grateful Memorial Day. Say thank you to those who sacrificed for us. And a day, a loving Memorial Day, to unite with our brothers and sisters and realize that we're all in this together. And therefore, to honor their memory, let us be united and show unity with one another. Have a inspiring, grateful, and loving Memorial Day.